The day I found out I was pregnant, my boyfriend and his first love held a small wedding. He explained, her final wish in this lifetime was to become my bride. And what about me? What was I considered? I finally understood that my 10 years of waiting and dedication couldn't compete with a single tear shed by his first love. As Louis placed the wedding ring on the bride's finger, the entire room erupted in applause. The atmosphere was lively as he lifted her veil. Finally, I caught a glimpse of the person he had longed for. Jenny, dressed in a white wedding gown, was breathtakingly beautiful. It made me feel ashamed. The crowd cheered, "Kiss her! Kiss her!" Jenny timely tipped her toes and pouted her lips. He seemed hesitant, and in the end, only kissed her on the cheek. Just then, he saw me under the tree. It was a wedding held in the hospital, adding a touch of romance and warmth to this usually solemn place. And this man, who said he would love me for a lifetime, my boyfriend who promised me a perfect wedding, was now holding someone else's hand, making a lifelong commitment to them. And I just stood there blankly, my hands and feet ice cold. A gust of wind passed by, sending a chill over my face. This wedding was forced to pause because of my presence. Who is that? What is she doing here? It couldn't be a wedding crasher, she pales in comparison to the bride. All the guests' eyes were fixed on me. They frowned, disapprovingly. As if I were the villain. I was the one preventing this perfect love story. Jenny also saw me. She lightly frowned, looking like a flawless sculpture. Louis, in a panic, let go of her hand and moved to chase after me. "Coco, wait." Jenny held onto his arm, tears in her eyes, looking at me with pity. "Louis, this wedding can't proceed without a groom." This resolute and composed man hesitated. He gazed at me, but his body leaned towards Jenny. What was I waiting for? To wait any longer would only be self-deprecation. He wouldn't choose me. I turned and left. "Coco." Louis took a few steps towards me. Someone's voice hoarsely shouted behind him, "Jenny." Chaos ensued. He still didn't catch up. The whole night, I didn't sleep. Louis didn't come back either. Our chat interface still held the last message, "Louis, when you come back, I have a surprise for you." Little did I know, he first gave me a huge surprise. On the day I found out I was pregnant, my beloved held someone else's hand and walked down the aisle into matrimony. I thought he was away on a business trip. I thought he was too busy to even reply to messages. But he was busy getting married. My waiting and surprises, everything I did, became a joke. The crumpled pregnancy report was no longer necessary. When I met Louis, he had just broken up with Jenny. His career and love life crashed. And my presence. It was just a coincidence. I provided him comfort and encouragement. I accompanied him from his lows to highs, a whole 7 years. 7 years. Later, he said he wanted to marry me. I thought it was out of gratitude or guilt. But he said, "I don't know when it started, but my gaze landed on you, and since then, I haven't been able to look away." In that moment, I couldn't describe my emotions. The truth was, he didn't know. Long ago, he had already left a mark on my heart. It was me, always chasing after his shadow, and on that day, my unrequited love finally blossomed and bore fruit. I thought I could keep the clouds away, and see the moonlight. That's what I thought. But Jenny's appearance shattered all my illusions. It was just self-deception. He never forgot her. As the last light faded from the sky, I finally decided to leave. Just as I finished packing my suitcase, there was a commotion outside the door. Louis came in, looking weary. "Coco, that wedding was incalculable." I looked at him in silence, not saying a word. Jenny has ALS, and she wanted to be a bride one last time. In that moment, was his pain because of my lack of understanding or Jenny's imminent decline? I couldn't tell. Probably the latter. He rarely felt sad because of me. When I went to see her today, she was wearing a wedding dress, asking me to accompany her through the upcoming stages. An indescribable sadness lingered in the furrow of his brow. Coco, I couldn't refuse, she's dying. Refuse? Did he ever consider refusing? At the wedding, his smile couldn't be faked. He married the person he longed for in his youth. He had dreamed of marrying her. I asked, when did she come back? Was it the day we were ring shopping? In fact, everything was traceable. That day, he received a phone call. Normally composed and self-contained, especially with his career soaring over these past years, he rarely showed his emotions. But on that day, he suddenly seemed distracted. There was a sorrow and urgency in his eyes that I couldn't decipher. He said there was a business issue that needed urgent attention. I believed him. Later, he went on a business trip for a few days. When he returned, he was often lost in thought. During that time, I always tried my best to cheer him up. I truly thought he was facing a difficult problem, and I hoped I could share his worries. But it turned out, he was worrying about another woman. I asked him, were you with her during those days you were away on a business trip? He remained silent. He never bothered to lie to me, but ultimately he made an exception for Jenny. I suddenly realized that I seemed to no longer recognize him. But those features, his calm eyes, his indifferent lips, all unmistakably belonged to him. I chuckled self-deprecatingly, Louis, forget it. He didn't respond, standing in front of me, steadfast and unmoving. His lips were tightly pressed together. His Adam's apple bobbed, as if he had something to say. But he said nothing. I pushed the suitcase, preparing to go past him and leave. However, he grabbed my wrist, his brows furrowed, his voice hoarse, Coco, don't leave. I shook off his hand. I went to the hospital for a checkup and then scheduled surgery. Just as I arrived downstairs, I ran into Jenny. She smiled warmly at me, introducing herself openly, hello, I'm Jenny. She was a ballet dancer. Graceful physique, beautiful appearance. Standing next to her, the contrast was clear. When Louis faced a career failure, she left him decisively to study abroad. Perhaps people always yearn for what they can't have. The unattainable always seems the best. That's why Louis has been pining for her all these years. And someone like me, rushing in, naturally won't earn his cherish. Louis told me, you are his fiancé. She said this, with a raised chin and a wry smile. She was clearly showing off. Being a fiancé, so what? He's still going through a wedding ceremony with her. He's still reciting vows of a lifetime with her. To her, I am just a joke. About the wedding, Louis probably has already explained it to you. I didn't want to say much to her. The bitterness in my mouth grew. He's already detached from me. I won't compete with a dying man. I'm not that presumptuous, nor am I that despicable and vulgar. She wants something, let her have it. I walked away quickly. Jenny seemed to have something more to say. As she chased after me, she stumbled and fell to the ground. Louis appeared at that moment. In that situation, he furrowed his brow slightly. He quickly went over and helped Jenny up. His movements were gentle, as if afraid that a little more force would shatter her. When his eyes met mine, they held a tinge of sternness and reproach. Coco, Jenny is a patient. Jenny is a patient. So, he thought it was okay not to explain to me, spend the entire night with her, leaving me alone at home to overthink. Only the next day, did he nonchalantly say a few words, asking me not to leave. I've never been his priority. I didn't do anything, it was your wife who fell. I exaggerated the two words your wife, my tone mocking. His brow creased even more. Probably because of my attitude. I've always been so gentle with him. Over these years, I've almost never shown any sharpness in front of him. Truly, I'm as humble as can be. Jenny looked apologetic, but the smile in her eyes deepened. I fell myself, it's not Coco's fault. Louis, as you know, sometimes I can't control my movements. At that moment, I suddenly realized that Jenny was proud and disdainful of using any small tricks. She simply hooked a finger, exposed a wound, and Louis eagerly came to help. He has unresolved feelings for her, and can't bear to blame her for leaving him. In the face of life and death, past grievances seem insignificant. When she spoke, Louis was taken aback. When his eyes met mine, he seemed to want to say something but hesitated. Jenny took the orange from his hand, casually saying, "You two must have a lot to talk about. I'll go back to the hospital room first, you can talk slowly." It was only then that I noticed the orange that Louis had peeled clean. Here's a funny thing, I love eating oranges. But Louis doesn't like them. When we had just started dating, he took me to dinner with his friends. He introduced me to his friends, a gesture that made me feel secure. At that time, I didn't fully understand his likes and dislikes. To get closer to him, I offered him a piece of orange cake. He froze, tightly sealed his lips. There was a momentary silence in the air. His friends all looked at me. I felt sweat forming on my palms. I subconsciously thought, did I do something wrong? Did I upset him? Someone broke the tension. Louis detests anything with an orange flavor the most, and you don't even know. Take a penalty shot. The atmosphere quickly heated up again, but I still felt a sense of loss. It was only during a drunken moment later, on that Louis finally told me the reason. In fact, when he was young, he didn't resist citrus fruits. His mother was unwell, with a poor appetite. However, she had a particular fondness for oranges, and the house was always stocked with them. It was a cold winter day. She gave him an orange for the final time, kissed his cheek, and said, "Wait for mommy at home, finish this plate of oranges, and mommy will come back." That day, he waited until the last hint of twilight vanished from the sky. He waited until the snow fell heavily, reaching past his ankles. In the end, all he waited for was one sentence, "Louis, your mom jumped in the river." His mother died that winter. Only when he grew up did he find out that his mom didn't particularly like oranges. It was just that she was sick, and oranges were cheap and vibrant in color. His mother's choice to buy oranges was one of helplessness, forced by their circumstances of illness and life. His voice choked. After that, I never ate oranges or tangerines again. That night, his tears were scalding, rolling over my skin, making me shed tears as well. I know, oranges remind him of his mother. They bring back memories of his miserable and helpless childhood. So, I basically stopped eating them. Even the orange-scented perfume, I hid it in the deepest part of the cabinet, and never brought it out again. Until this moment, seeing the orange in his hand, I finally understood that Louis had grown strong enough not to avoid these reminders. It's just that I couldn't be the exception for him. It's just that he never cared about my efforts. It's just that he doesn't really know what I like. But he knows that Jenny likes oranges. Whatever sad memories, whatever embarrassing past, can make way for her preference. Louis looked at her, his face showing concern. "Do you need to call a nurse?" His care for her has always been obvious. Jenny shrugged, smiling brightly. "Louis, I can walk back on my own. You guys chat." Louis then looked at me. "Coco, where did you move to?" A loud noise came. Jenny had just walked a few steps, and then stumbled again. Before his words could fall, he turned and ran towards her. I stood still, watching his anxious face. Watching him frown, because of the scrape on her arm. He said, "You should not have come alone, does it hurt?" His tone was not heavy, it was like scolding, like flirting. He asked, "Can you still walk?" Jenny shook her head. He just lifted her up horizontally. They walked off in the opposite direction. Jenny hugged his neck, turned to look at me, with a radiant smile. The smug look on her face spelled out 3 words, "I won." She resorted to the same trick. It was stupid, but effective. I felt a surge in my stomach. I turned and ran to the restroom at the end of the corridor, vomiting until I was dizzy. It was a long time before Louis sent a message. "Coco, why are you at the hospital? Are you feeling unwell?" Wasn't this question a bit too late? He forgot to ask yesterday why I appeared at his wedding venue. I shook my head, laughed self-deprecatingly, and then blocked all his contacts. Louis still learned about my pregnancy news. Mandy looked apologetic. Coco, I'm really sorry. I'll definitely teach Sam a lesson when I get back. Sam on the other end of the phone said, Coco, you two have been together for so long. Give Louis a chance, also give the child a chance. Mandy scolded and snatched the phone from me, cursing at Sam. What Louis did is unforgivable. If it were me, I'd break his arms. Funny thing. Mandy is my best friend. Sam is Louis's childhood friend. Their marriage was actually arranged by us. They got their marriage certificate a few days ago, but they were still missing a wedding ceremony. And Louis and I, after 7 years of toil, ended up like this in the end. Louis still came. Running. Sweating profusely, with an anxious look on his face. When he saw me still outside the operating room, his brow suddenly relaxed. He pulled me tightly into his arms, holding me close. As if afraid that if he let go, I would disappear. Coco, I was wrong, don't be impulsive, can we have a good talk? There was a faint smell of smoke on him. His father, Louis Sr., died of lung cancer, so he rarely smokes. Only when he's really stressed, will he have a cigarette. These days, he had been running around, looking for medical help for Jenny. People started asking me about my health. They were asking me if everything was okay. These people really thought I could make Louis so worked up. It's ridiculous. What was even stronger than the smoke smell was the scent of jasmine. A few days ago in the hospital, when I was near Jenny, I smelled that familiar fragrance. It reminded me of our 2nd year together. It was also the 5th year since we first met. His father passed away, followed by some financial problems with the company. During that time, Louis couldn't sleep all night. I was worried about his health, so I asked the doctor to prescribe some Chinese herbal medicine to calm his mind. I even took half a day off to make the soup for him. That day, I stayed with that pot of soup. It got very late, but all I got was a sentence, Coco, I want to be alone for a while to clear my mind. Don't worry about me. After a few days, he came back. And he had that jasmine scent on him. Turns out, at that time, he went to see Jenny. She was his only emotional support. What's even funnier is that when I asked him why he smelled like that, he handed me a bottle of perfume. A gift for you. I tried it at the store and thought you might like it. He remembered to bring me a gift when he went out to clear his mind. I thought he must really love me. All the previous unpleasantness seemed to disappear. During that time, our relationship progressed rapidly. He always wanted to be close to me, burying his face in my neck. However, today I finally understood his intentions. He didn't really like me that much. He just liked the jasmine scent on me. Unknowingly, I had become a substitute for Jenny in his eyes. A poor substitute. Apart from that scent, we had nothing in common. I pushed myself out of his arms and slapped him hard. He stood there in a daze, covering his face, looking bewildered. Mandy looked at me, Coco, how are you? I covered my mouth and rushed to the bathroom. I vomited intensively, as if I was trying to cough up my heart, liver, and lungs. Mandy handed me a bottle of water and kept patting my back to help me catch my breath. How did you end up throwing up like this? This is truly unbearable. Louis stood by the door, his face showing a hint of pity. Several red fingerprints stood out on his fair cheeks. I glared at him with hatred. Do you know how nauseating you are to me? You deliberately chose that perfume, didn't you? The same scent as Jenny's. Of course, he knew what I was talking about. In an instant, his face turned pale. What was he thinking when he did all this? Didn't he find it nauseating himself? Coco, listen to my explanation. At that time, I didn't understand. I thought that scent made me feel at ease. Later, I realized that it was you who brought me comfort. Coco, I really want to marry you. I sneered. Okay, here's the deal, choose between kicking Jenny out of our lives or setting clear boundaries between us. From now on, you won't appear in front of me. Louis seemed to hesitate. Mandy protested, what are you hesitating for? Of course, choose Coco. You've known each other for 7 years and been together for 4 years. Have you forgotten all of that? But Louis didn't see it that way. He muttered to himself, but she's dying, Coco, she's dying. She was a ballet dancer, but she had ALS. Do you know that kind of despair? His words seemed to mock me. Jenny only lost her life, while what I lost was love. How ridiculous. Louis, but you're my boyfriend. Are you pitying her to the extent of marrying her? Pitying her to the point of disregarding my feelings and leaving me time and time again to go to her? Do you not understand whether you're pitying her or still emotionally attached to her? Using ALS as an excuse countless times to cover his unresolved emotions. How stubborn. Louis remained silent. He just clenched his fists until his knuckles turned white, but he didn't utter a word. At that moment, a ringing phone broke the deathly silence. Louis took out his phone. The voice on the other end was frantic, someone shouting, "Hurry, come over. Jenny is attempting suicide. She doesn't want to live." He panicked instantly. And at that moment, the nurse called me into the operating room. In fact, he had already made his decision. I laughed and said, "Go on, but don't actually die. You'll end up hating me for the rest of your life if you do." Being hated by someone like him is quite a disservice. Louis looked at me, eyes pleading, "Coco, promise me, wait for me to come back before making a decision. I'm the child's father, we'll discuss it together." I tugged at the corner of my lips. I dug my nails viciously into my palm. These 7 years, let's just say they went to the dogs. Another phone call. The urgency on the other end was palpable. Mandy scolded, "Louis, do you even have a conscience anymore?" The visible anxiety on his face. He was probably genuinely afraid that Jenny might really be gone. Mandy scolded, "Jenny is just a fraudster, can't you see through her tricks?" How could he not see through them? Louis wasn't stupid. He was just indulging. He was just afraid of the 1 in a million chance that Jenny might jump from a high building. "Coco, wait for me to come back, wait for me to come back so we can make a decision." I didn't say anything, and he turned to Mandy, "Mandy, I beg you, look after her for me, don't let her go in." Mandy cursed, "Look after her yourself. Are you even a man anymore?" I told him to wait for a moment. Then, I twisted the bottle cap off, poured the remaining half bottle of water onto his head. "Louis, we're done, don't come looking for me anymore." Water droplets snaked down his face, dripping onto the ground with a silly look. Some droplets splashed into his eyes, stinging and turning them red. He stared at me blankly and murmured, "I'm sorry." Watching him run away, I felt like a failure. Mandy stamped her foot in anger, that dog of a man. After cursing, she asked me, "Coco, are you okay?" "I'm fine. I never thought he would choose me in the first place. Even if he did choose me and Jenny was completely out of our lives. We couldn't return to what we once had. Once a mirror is broken, it can't be put back together." Before entering the operating room, I sent him a few messages. "If you're willing, there will be many people willing to have a child with you. But in this world, there's only one Jenny." I wanted him to remember that this child was killed by him and Jenny. I wanted him to remember when he lay on my stomach and asked, "Coco, do you prefer a boy or a girl?" He was the one who wanted a child, but he was also the one who gave up on the child. To kill someone's heart, that's all it takes. The surgery was soon over. When I woke up, Sam was there too. I suddenly remembered something. "Sam, there are 2 rings in my bag, please return them to Louis." After all, those wedding rings were just random choices. Louis was thinking about Jenny at the time, not putting his heart into it. I didn't care about those things either. Sam nodded and left. Mandy sat beside me, "Coco, Louis isn't worth it." I knew that she deliberately leaked the news of my pregnancy to Sam. Letting go of those 7 years was not easy. She thought that it was just because of Jenny's existence that there were misunderstandings between Louis and me. But she didn't know that they had a wedding ceremony. She also didn't know that because of Jenny, Louis left me time and time again. But now, she fully understood. Sam sent her a video. Mandy didn't avoid me and directly clicked on it. In the video, Louis was holding Jenny in his arms. They embraced and wept together. She said, "I don't want to stay in the hospital anymore, it's stuffy here, I don't like it here." Louis agreed to everything she said. She added, "I want to see the world, I want to dance ballet again, I want." She choked up. Louis kept saying, "Okay." He closed his eyes, tears sliding down his cheeks. Fate had been so cruel to this ill-fated couple. Watching it made me sick to my stomach. Mandy showed me the video to force me to make a tough decision. She was always clear-headed. After the observation period ended, Sam and Mandy sent me back home together. As soon as we got into the car, Louis appeared. He was holding the ring box I returned, looking somewhat dazed. "Coco, did you really get rid of our child?" Mandy frowned. "Don't act like a victim, you had a hand in this, didn't you?" I asked softly, "What about Jenny? Is she asleep? Otherwise, why would you be here?" Louis didn't answer, which was as good as acknowledging it. I smiled, "If you're so devoted, then go die with her. Don't come before me again." And at that, cracks appeared in his vacant expression. Pain, sadness, guilt, all leaked out from this crack. His eyes were bloodshot. I didn't speak anymore. The pain in my lower abdomen was severe. Even breathing had to be done cautiously. Mandy, filled with anger, scolded harshly, "Clear your heart. Only then can the next person who moves in feel comfortable. Why don't you understand such a simple truth? Louis, Coco has been by your side for 7 years. What about that Jenny? She abandoned you, and you still eagerly go after her. Are you demeaning yourself? Sincerely wasted your affections, bad luck." Louis did not retort. Mandy tried to close the car door, but he reached out to stop it, saying, "Coco, she will leave our lives." Rolling her eyes, Mandy scoffed, "You just said you wanted to travel the world with her. So, you lied to the first one to deceive the second one. Louis, you're quite greedy. I'm going to close the door now. If my hand gets caught, I won't be able to take care of your old flame." Louis stood firm, not letting go no matter how Mandy scolded him. Sam came down from the driver's seat, trying to persuade gently, "You better leave. What you did was despicable, don't force your buddy to punch you." Louis stared straight at me, opened a ring box, picked out a female ring, and handed it to me, saying, "We can go back to how we were in the beginning. We can get married, we can still have children." Sam shook his head and proceeded to remove Louis' fingers one by one. Trembling, Louis looked at me. His plea was almost overflowing. The car started. I glanced at the rearview mirror. Louis stood still, watching me leave for a long time. He knew the consequences when he decided to leave me. Just putting on a mournful appearance to show his depth of emotions. Following where Mandy's gaze pointed, she sneered, "What a show." In the following days, I focused on taking care of myself in the rental house. Mandy often came to visit. She said, "Louis is pestering Sam every day, asking for your address. I'm fed up." I smiled and continued eating the orange pudding in my hand. One day, I received a call from Jenny. She wanted to meet and talk. I agreed eagerly. When I arrived at the coffee shop, she was already seated. Setting aside our grievances, Jenny was the kind of girl who would impress anyone. She was truly beautiful. She said, "Throughout these years, you have taken care of Louis. Do you know the impression you give right now? Just like a proud thief, clearly knowing that you are stealing from others, yet feeling no shame, but rather feeling pleased with oneself. Quite shameless." Unburdening some thoughts I couldn't keep to myself, Jenny stirred her coffee, her face showing no sign of irritation. Matters of the heart are different than gardening. "I'm dying, so I gave up everything to get it back. If you have to blame someone, blame me for giving you 7 years, but you still haven't captured his heart." When she said that, chin raised, a victorious smile on her face. It seemed she truly believed that her death would forever seal Louis' love for her. No one could replace her. Amused, I said, when you're dying, what can you still hold on to? If you have the ability, make sure Louis can't marry without you, die together with him. Jenny, I know the living can't compete with the dead. But after you die, can you guarantee he won't meet someone like you again? She knew Louis' advantages better than me. Exceptional looks, abundant assets. It was easy to attract a constant stream of admirers. Her smile froze on her face. I continued inciting, guess what? After you die, will he be yearning for someone who's been dead for years, or someone like me who's within his reach, but he can't have? I took a sip of my bitter coffee. Jenny, you know better than me how weak Louis is. Is he yearning for you, or clinging to you? She pressed her lips tight, not uttering a word. It seemed she couldn't figure it out herself. Dying beautifully in his arms, perhaps he would remember you longer. After leaving this piece of advice, I got up and left. She was like a fading rose. When on the verge of death, greedily trying to absorb others' love to prove her existence and significance. It's quite sad. They continued to compose their earth-shattering love story beyond life and death. No longer a concern to me. After resting for a while, I accepted a headhunter's invitation and joined a new company. This city, neither too big nor too small, was enough to make it difficult to reunite with people you bid farewell to. It was quite silly of me. Back when I just got together with Louis, I resigned from my job to help him. I returned to my field of expertise once his career stabilized, which disrupted my professional plans, despite being a valuable work experience, setting aside feelings. Looking back now, it truly was a waste of time. The following months passed uneventfully. One day, Mandy came to deliver wedding invitations. Due to various reasons, their wedding kept getting postponed. Finally, it found a place in that winter. Mandy asked me, Louis will also come, do you mind? If you do, I'll have Sam sort him out. Sam and Louis have known each other for a long time. They had agreed to be each other's best man. Of course, the wedding shouldn't be affected because of me. I shook my head, you both should enjoy your wedding however you like. The wedding day arrived quickly. Louis, as the best man, followed behind Sam to pick up Mandy. He looked handsome in his suit, just like the first time we met. He probably doesn't remember. But I do. It was an autumn day. I was sitting in the pavilion on the back hill of the school, suddenly missing my mom. If she were here, she would definitely cook me braised pork. And after I finished eating, she would push me to keep working hard. But she's no longer here. I stood at the top of the mountain. There was a moment when I felt like jumping off regardless. And at that moment, I saw Louis. At that time, he had just succeeded in his business, looking sharp in his suit and full of vigor. He stood by my side and casually said, "This is the best spot for the school's view, you can see the rainbow from here." I followed his gaze and indeed saw a rainbow. It was so beautiful and enchanting. I suddenly felt relieved, as if the heavy weight on my chest wasn't so heavy anymore. It might have been just an offhand remark, but I remembered it for many years. It wasn't until 3 years later that I met him again. It was followed by 7 years of entanglement. Unlike that year, he now looked exhausted. He saw me too. The atmosphere was lively, but he just stood there, motionless, gazing at me with complex eyes. I turned to the side, helping Mandy adjust her dress, trying to avoid his gaze. Sam carried Mandy downstairs. There were many people. A child accidentally pushed me, and as I seldom wore high heels, I suddenly felt unsteady. Just as I was about to fall, Louis caught me. In that moment of physical contact, I smelled that mix of cigarette smoke and jasmine fragrance. A familiar sense of nausea surged up. After steadying myself, I pushed him away forcefully. "Don't touch me." He took a few steps back, leaning against the railing, barely maintaining his balance. His eyes downcast, a moment of dumbfoundment, a hurt expression. There were goosebumps on the places he had touched. "Watch your step, Coco." His voice was as gentle as ever. The tone made it seem like we had some kind of relationship. I ignored him and turned to go downstairs. Upon reaching the hotel, I realized Jenny was also there. Sitting in a wheelchair, her face plain, her lips slightly pale, still with that pitiful appearance. She softly called out, "Louis." Louis frowned imperceptibly, but still went towards her. Mandy looked at Sam beside her. Sam hurried to clarify, "I didn't invite her." He glanced at me, probably afraid that Louis would be snatched away. After all, a thief fears another thief the most. I raised an eyebrow, "I'm no thief." Sam shrugged, "People with dirty minds think everyone else is dirty." Mandy sneered, "Fine, if she has no shame, then I'll be blunt too." Soon, it was time. The background music of Love Story played. Mandy, dressed in a white wedding gown, walked slowly towards Sam. I stood below the stage, feeling tears welling up in my eyes. At some point, Louis walked up to me. He handed me a tissue. I didn't take it. It was then that I noticed the wedding ring on his ring finger. It looked pretentious. He didn't care when he chose it, but he refused to take it off after we broke up, pretending to be sentimental. Jenny wheeled herself over, "Louis, we never exchanged rings that day." Louis didn't respond, turning to look at me. It seemed like he wanted to see a hint of sorrow and reluctance on my face. But he was destined to be disappointed. I stared at the newlyweds embracing on stage, smiling broadly, goading them to share a kiss. Louis looked down, "The people on stage should also include us, right?" His voice was soft, drowned out in the crowd in an instant. But I heard it. Jenny heard it too. Her lips trembled. She knew well that when Louis referred to us, he meant me and him. Mandy had once proposed to have a wedding involving 4 people. At that time, everyone's relationship was good, so naturally, the proposal passed unanimously. I never expected Louis to still remember such a thing. It was truly nauseating. I took a few steps to the side. Then, a bouquet of flowers accurately hit Jenny on the head. Mandy took the microphone from the MC. "Why did it hit you on the head? I recall you were married before, right? So obsessed with marriage that you stole someone else's fiancé. You didn't even get the certificate, just wore a wedding dress and forced him to have a wedding with you." Upon hearing this, the guests who were eating lifted their heads, searching for the central figure of the conversation. Once again, I moved to the side. Jenny held the flowers, her face pale. Whispers surrounded us from all directions. Some even took out their phones to record videos. "This person is so beautiful, how could she be a mistress?" Sam pretended to cough a few times. Mandy winked at me, handing the microphone back to the MC. She was helping me vent my anger. When Jenny had her wedding, I was also maliciously speculated about by her friends. Jenny looked somewhat lost. She instinctively looked up at Louis, seeking help. But he just looked at me, hesitant to speak. "Louis." Louis remained silent. Jenny quickly turned red. Vicious gossip is terrifying. She quickly lowered her head and left in her motorized wheelchair. Unexpectedly, Louis didn't go after her. "Coco, I didn't marry her. I truly regretted it. She was a woman I had once abandoned." The bit of regret and unrequited love from before had probably long been worn away. Mandy chuckled, "Aren't you going after her? She might attempt suicide again later. What if she really dies? I don't want to be an accomplice to murder her." Louis gave me a deep look and walked away. Mandy spat, "That Jenny has no foresight. Just seeing her makes me feel unlucky." Sam hugged her, gently stroking her small belly. "Wife, calm down. Don't startle the baby." Mandy snorted coldly, "In the future, stay away from people like Louis who are unclear about their feelings. Listen to me." Later, I heard that Jenny had disappeared. Mandy was eating cherries washed by Sam, with a disdainful expression on her face. Such a show. She really thinks highly of herself. The more she shows off, the more annoyed Louis will be. I chuckled. She's not showing off, she's scared. I heard that in the middle stage of progressive supranuclear palsy, life becomes basically impossible to take care of. She's afraid that Louis will see her at her ugliest. She wants to die in Louis's memories looking beautiful and glamorous. Instead of tormenting each other, she wants Louis to feel guilty. That way, he will remember her for longer. It seems like she took to heart what I said in the coffee that day. Later, Mandy told me again. Louis found Jenny. Due to emotional stress and passive therapy, her illness progressed rapidly. Louis felt extremely guilty and actually wanted to travel the world with her. But his company couldn't afford to stop. Not long after, the company's general manager was replaced. Jenny died that winter. Mandy sighed. Actually, Jenny had it pretty bad too. Fate was jealous of her beauty. If she hadn't done all those scheming, I might have pitied her. I thought to myself, me too. Saying this is not out of saintly concern, but just female empathy. Not long after that, due to wrong decisions, Louis's company suffered a major blow. He was in a tough spot now. When Mandy told me this news, she smiled and said, "That lousy company should have gone bankrupt long ago. Without my family's cocoa, how could it have thrived?" I nodded repeatedly while reviewing project proposals on the computer. It's a good thing to have gotten out early. Eventually, Louis came looking for me. In fact, he had found out my address long ago. Some time ago, I woke up in the middle of the night and went downstairs to the bathroom in the dark. Somehow, I glanced downstairs. I happened to see him standing outside my house. The dim light fell on him. His figure looked desolate. I didn't know how long he had been standing there. Cigarette butts surrounded his feet. I quickly pulled down the curtains and didn't look again. This time, he looked much thinner. He was meticulously dressed up, but still couldn't hide the fatigue. He still wore the wedding ring on his ring finger. "Coco, can I come in?" I stood at the door with my arms crossed. "If you have something to say, say it here." Seeing my firm attitude, he didn't insist. "Coco, I miss you a lot." He sighed, his tone filled with sorrow. "The day Jenny died, I wasn't as sad as I thought I would be. But every day without you, I feel incredibly miserable. Coco, I can't live without you. How can I go on without you?" He was naive. I didn't accept this ring back in the hospital that day. And now, it was even more impossible for me to accept it. I retorted, "What, after losing a crush, you finally remembered me as your backup plan?" He may have come to me with some sincerity, but more likely, he saw my value and wanted me to accompany him in his comeback. His downfall was his own doing, he couldn't blame anyone else. Louis frowned. "Coco, don't be like this isn't like you. Mandy and I have always been on the same wavelength." But he didn't cherish it. He said firmly, "You can't just move on from our 7 years that quickly." I shook my head with a smile. I can pick up and put down things easily. He was still deceiving himself. "Louis, do you think everyone is as fickle as you?" He pursed his lips and said, "We never got married." I sarcastically replied, "What's the point of telling me this? Hoping I'll praise you for being faithful and strong. By belittling your love for her, you're trying to magnify the depth of feelings you have for me, Louis. That makes me sick. Couldn't live without you." Did he say the same thing to Jenny too? I regret that we tangled up for so many years. It wasn't until Jenny returned to her country that I saw his true colors. I pretended to close the door. "Sorry, I have to do my makeup, my boyfriend is waiting for me." Louis looked surprised. "I don't believe it." "You don't believe it?" I raised an eyebrow, finding him quite ridiculous. "Look downstairs, the one driving the Lamborghini. That's my boyfriend, taller, handsomer, younger than you." He actually walked to the end of the corridor and looked out the window. Then his face turned ashen. I closed the door. Over the phone, the newly arrived intern spoke cheerfully. "Sister, when will I be converted to a regular employee?"